The next concept that is to be studied is the properties of matter. This property of matter is further classified into two different categories. One is the property of solids, and the other one is the properties of liquids and gases. But we have studied the properties of gases under thermodynamics. So the other one that is left out is the liquids. So the other category that we have under properties of matter is the properties of liquids. Well, the properties of solids has got another name which is known as the strength of materials. Right. And to study the properties of liquid, that is, the strength of a liquid, it depends upon the all important term known as the pressure. And all of you know that pressure is equal to force by area. The term that we have with regards to the property of solids and is equivalent to the pressure is the strain. It is not the strain, it is the stress rather. The same expression, stress here, is also the force by the area. Now we will study into all the details with regards to the stress, that is the properties of solids, and once that is over, we will then take over the liquids. And solids means, well, it is some application to a bar, a force applied to a bar, which will have a definite area. Then find out what is the ratio of force to the area. Then that is called the stress that is existing in the bar. When a force is applied to a bar, then the bar will have an increase in the length. Otherwise, when you apply the force in the opposite direction, then there will be a decrease in the length. When the length of the bar increases, then the stress that is existing in the bar is termed as a positive stress. A tensile stress, because it is having a tension. Whenever there is an increase in the length, then we say that the force is under tension. That is why when you pull a string, also we say that the string is under tension. What is the speciality with regards to the stress in a string? Can you think and tell me? There can be only a tension in the string. When you apply the force in the opposite direction, the string will just will bend down, and there will be no increase or decrease in the length of the string. So there will be no compressive stress in this string. So the string will have only a tensile stress and no compressive stress. But okay. Well, there are lots more details that are to be studied about the stress and the force that is there within a bar. Well, let us take a bar. And if the length of the bar is equal to L, you apply a force. Force means it is not the force just acting on one side. No, the bar will remain in the original position like it was already. It means that to keep the bar at the same place, the forces should be balanced. It means that when it comes to the properties of solids, then the solid will be at rest. We will never take motion at all into account under this section. So for that, the force that is applied on one side has to be equaled by the same force on the opposite side. So they will balance, the bar will remain at rest. But note one thing, because of the application of this force, the bar will have a change in the length. Now, because forces are acting on both sides, so change in length will be there on both the sides. But for simplicity purposes, we will show that there is change only on one side, and whatever be the length on one side and the other side, add up both, that is a total change. We are showing it on one side. So when it comes to problems and also the problem solving, doesn't make much difference when you take the entire change in length on one side itself. We will take this change in length as equal to small l. The area of cross section of the bar is A. As we know that the force by area is equal to the pressure for fluids and the stress for material, then the stress here will be equal to force, shall we call it as F because sounds well with the word force. First letter is F for force. So for force, let it be represented by the symbol F divided by the area of cross section A, which is there for the material. So this is what we have as laid down in the definition for stress. Then another thing is that the change in length that we have when it is compared to the original length. It is find the change in length when the original length is equal to 1. Then that is what is known as the strain. Yes. Well, let us now try to understand the various definitions that we have so that we will be able to proceed further. Whenever there is a force applied to a bar, you can see that there is a change in the length. The ratio of this change in length to the original length of the bar is known as the strain. Whenever there is a strain, we say that the bar is under deformation. Something like this, that when you apply a force, one side here, another side here, then the bar will undergo a deformation. Something like one force acting here, another force acting here. So what will happen? There is a deformation, permanent deformation like this. And that is only we study here, man. A permanent deformation. Okay. So then, what we now have is to understand what is deformation. A permanent deformation, you see, when you apply a force, that is when the force is under action and there is deformation, that is called a temporary deformation. On removing the force, when the body is free, then also if the deformation is existing, then that deformation is called a permanent deformation. Permanent. Whatever you try to do, hit it, press it, pull it, no, nothing will happen. The deformation will remain the same. This is called the permanent deformation. So for deformation, The definition is that the force which is applied on a bar, there will be an elongation, or maybe when it is of the compressive type, then there will be a compression. Then on removing the forces, if the change still remains, then that deformation is called a permanent deformation. There is one more idea that is to be understood about this deformation. Earlier, what I had told you was that when a force is applied, there will be a change in the length, because of which deformation will be there. But when the deformation is there due to the action of a force, or when the force is acting, at that time the deformation is called a temporary deformation. So the other case that we have is on removing the forces. What you notice is that the bar will come back to its original length. Force is removed, then the bar will automatically come back to its original length. Then there is no deformation. That is, after applying a force, when you release the forces and the bar comes back to its original length, then when the bar is free and there is no deformation, then the term deformation should not be attributed in this case. Temporary deformation when the force is acting, that is common, leave it out. On releasing the forces, bar coming back to original conditions, there is no deformation. Then what? To understand that, now what you do is apply a still greater force. Length will increase more, release the force. Again the bar comes back to its original position. As you keep on increasing the length more and more and release it, at one time, for free conditions, when there is no load, force is called the load sometimes. So on releasing the force, if the increase in the length is such that the bar is unable to get its original length under free conditions, when this happens, just, that is, when the bar is almost going to have a permanent deformation, just able to come back to its original condition, then the limit that we have for that is called the elastic limit. So from the original free conditions at the start to the extension for which the force is such that the bar is just able to get back to the original condition, still greater force, no, then there is a permanent deformation. Then when the force applied is such that it has reached its maximum limit within the non-deformation conditions, then all the conditions that is existing now is called the elastic condition. When the maximum force is reached for elastic conditions, further force, a deformation will be there. So just going to have a deformation, that is the maximum elastic conditions have been reached, then there is a limit here, and that limit is called the elastic limit. Yeah, remember, elastic limit. And then the plastic deformation is the third one. The permanent deformation, the plastic, that is after elongation, a permanent deformation. Then within the limit, that is the maximum force which can be applied to a bar such that it is just at the point of crossing elasticity, then we say that the force has reached its elastic limit. The other one is the plastic conditions, plastic limit, whatever you call it. It is as good as saying that even when there is no elongation, there is a deformation. That's a little force. That's all. It will never be able to return back. Such a deformation is called a plastic deformation. So a permanent deformation is one when a bar has crossed its limits, never able to reach the original conditions after elongation. Then after elongation, the bar is just able to reach its original conditions. then the maximum limit that we have is called elastic limit. On slightly applying a force, there is a deformation. On releasing the force, it remains permanently. So on almost zero force applied, there is a deformation. This kind of deformation is what is called plastic deformation. And the best example for that is the clay. Take a clay ball, put it down, it will stick to the ground, never rebound back. This is what is called a plastic deformation. You press the clay, leave it freely, the clay will never ever be able to retain its original condition. This is plastic. Even a little force applied, that is all. It will never be able to regain its original shape and size. Then this is what is called the plastic deformation. Okay. Then there is one definition here with regards to the limit that we have studied just now. A statement rather. It is a statement of the entire subject on properties of solids. And that is what is called the Hooke's law. The Hooke's law states that the stress is proportional to strain. Proportional to strain. Not always. Use that word limit. And what is that? Within the elastic limit. It is not that just like that we are using this. Somebody said it, okay, come on, we'll use it. No, it is not like that. There's a clear-cut proof for it. But the unfortunate thing is that it's a very, very simple thing. Still, no book has made a mention of the proof that is there for Hooke's law. So that is why some people find it difficult to work out problems. So stress is proportional to strain within the elastic limit. So, a very simple one though, we will still see why within the elastic limit the stress is proportional to strain. That is, when there is a deformation, a permanent deformation, this doesn't hold good. So let us see that now.